from Susanville, California, number 5, Abby Dunn. A 4.0 sophomore from Sugar Hill, Georgia, number 14, Samantha Frazier. A 1.0 junior from Edina, Minnesota, number 20, Haley Nilsson. And finally, a 4.5 junior from Gilroy, California, number 23, Ella Ray Rodriguez. The Wildcats are led by head coach Josie Aslickson and assistant coach Courtney Ryan. And now, let's meet the roster for the defending national champion, University of Alabama Crimson Tide. Number 14, Sadie Absher. Number 15, Elizabeth Flock. Number 21, Ella Freck. Number 22, Katie Hall. Number 23, Skylar Skarnecchia. Number 25, Lisa Clarie Galevert. Number 41, Moira Paulus. And number 52, Mary McClendon. And now the starters for the Crimson Tide. A 1.5 graduate student from Savage, Minnesota, number 4, Abby Bolaki. A 1.0 graduate student from Lempal, Polonezau, France, Louisa Very Larue. A doctoral student, 2.5 from Southampton, England, number 12, Joy Hazelden. A 4.0 graduate student from Johns Creek, Georgia, number 43, Bailey Moody. And finally, a 4.5 junior from just north in Chicago, Illinois, number 54, Exalt Gonzalez. The Crimson Tide are led by head coach Ryan Hines and assistant coach Lindsay Zerbrug.
And we'd like to thank our public announcer, Spencer Thompson, for introducing both teams here in our starting lineups for both sides as we are set and ready to go for our first women's semifinal here today inside State Farm Center, as the 1-seed Alabama Crimson Tide are going to take on the 4-seed Arizona Wildcats. And Alabama, they've had Arizona's number so far this season. The Crimson Tide are 4-0 against Arizona so far throughout the season. This will be the 5th time that they have matched up on the year. With the spot in tomorrow's national title game on the line here today inside State Farm Center, I am Alex Booth, joined alongside Odie Lottie, and what should be a fun one between these two teams. As I mentioned, Alabama, they've had the Cats' number so far this season, 4-0 against Arizona in the previous 4 matchups.
A lot of firepower coming from that sideline, a lot of scoring ability. They do it well, they do it together. It's not any one person, so they're hard to stop. You want to beat Arizona in this spot, you really have to limit your mistakes, and you got to force challenge contested shots for the University of Alabama for the next 40 minutes.
Looks like we're about set and ready to go. Both teams starting lineups out on the floor.
As I look over in the sidelines for both teams, what a great position for both of these programs. I see Paralympians, fantastic coaches, Ryan Hines, Lindsay Zerbrug over there heading up the Alabama women, Josie Aslickson, Courtney Ryan heading up for the University of Arizona. Both teams in great shape with great leadership. This should be a fun game.
Absolutely, it should be a fun one. We're excited to bring you the first of 2 women's semifinal matchups, and we'll see between 1-seed Alabama and 4-seed Arizona who will be the first to punch their ticket to tomorrow's women's national title game. As it's going to be Exalt Gonzalez in the circle for the Crimson Tide, and for the Wildcats, it's Ella Ray Rodriguez in the circle. As it looks like we're set and ready to go, our first semifinal matchup is off and underway inside State Farm Center as Alabama winning the tip from Gonzalez to Hazelden. And the Crimson Tide with the opening possession in this one. It's Gonzalez down the block, and she puts it up and in. Excel Gonzalez, the leading scorer for the Crimson Tide this season, is on the board early.
She wins the tip and just goes to work, goes around the outside of the defense, showing off her strengths and chair skills.
Wildcats able to get it into the front court. It's Abigail Dunn leaving it off. Her teammate, Haley Nilsson. Nilsson to Ella Rodriguez on the right wing. Rodriguez surveying the floor. Back across to Sam Frazier, then Nielsen. Rodriguez, right block. Tried to lay it up too strong.
Arizona ran a good offensive set. Alabama did a good job of forcing their offense out wide. Here we see a turnover, but Arizona had a good look on that offensive set.
There's Lily Landschlager stealing the ball in the front court and working her way down to the right block. Leaving off for Nielsen over to Rodriguez on the left side of the floor. Ella Rodriguez thought about lining up a shot. Instead, she'll kick it back out to Nielsen. Nielsen inside. Samantha Frazier cutting to the rim. Too strong.
That's two good looks for Arizona. If you want to chop down the champion, you're going to have to knock down some of those looks. You want to hang in there for 40 minutes against Alabama, you're going to have to make some of those easy ones.
So Ixel Gonzalez, the Crimson Tide's leading scorer, already on the board here today. Kicks it over to Bailey Moody. Moody leaves it off for Louisa Very LaRue down the middle of the lane. She has two.
That's really nice speed and composure in her chair when the defense left. She took enough of a roll that she had an easy shot, but not too much of a roll that she buried herself.
And we have a 10-second call. Alabama's pressure forcing the turnover from the Wildcats on that possession.
Arizona has to keep an eye on the shot clock. It's not a referee's count. It goes off of the shot clock, so it's staring you right in the face. It's hard to keep an eye on that, but as you get close to that 10-second violation, you got to throw it up.
Throughout the season, we've seen this Alabama team really incorporate that press against other teams, see how Arizona will be able to handle it here throughout this one. You have to expect head coach Ryan Hines will continue to deploy it here in the semifinals since it's Alabama 4-0 early. Joy Hazelden from England works her way inside and puts it up and in. You talked about Paralympians. Joy was a Paralympian on the England team here this past summer.
She's bringing it into the land of the trees, able to pump fake up and under and still find the focus to finish on that one.
And we have a timeout called in the backcourt as Arizona, they want to talk things over here in the opening minutes. It's 6-0 Alabama, 7:38 remaining here in the first.
What would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in adaptive sports?
I found my outlet through wheelchair basketball.
A lot of us are used to, having weapons in the military. Now, 4MAGs is our new M16.
It's our new battle buddy. Once they fly into a chair that suits them, anything's possible.
When you understand the ins and outs of a chair or your weapon, you're unstoppable.
As we're back after the timeout, it's going to be Lily Landschlager inbounding it for Arizona. Wildcats have struggled to break this pressure. They have 3 seconds here to get it across the timeline, and they're able to do just that, but it was knocked away. Will maintain Arizona basketball.
Excel Gonzalez, nice job jumping that passing lane, knowing the pass had to come in that spot, anticipating it, getting a hand on it, not able to gain possession.
So now head coach Ryan Hines is asking for a 10-second violation since they never had possession. He's going to get it. Arizona never had possession in the front court there, so that's going to be a 10-second call on the Wildcats.
Teamwork makes the dream work. That includes these officials. They got together and made sure they got the correct call.
Gonzalez now leaving it off for Joy Hazelden. Hazelden setting the screen for Bailey Moody. Moody was a Paralympian for Team USA this past summer, and she's on the board. As Landschlager across the timeline, 8-0 Alabama. They've come out of the gates just blazing the nets as Nielsen works her way inside and unable to get it to go. Looked like it was going to drop for Haley Nielsen. Hazelden working away to the right block, left it off for Moody. Inside, Vera LaRue finds Gonzalez, and she has great positioning on the right block and banks it in. Alabama offense is coming from all angles so far.
That's what makes this team so difficult to guard. They can score in so many different ways from so many different athletes. It makes the defense challenging because you don't know where to put the pressure.
And that's going to be a turnover for the Wildcats. They were trying to avoid the 10-second call and just threw it ahead. Ended up forcing the turnover as Hazelden set to be the inbounder. And we have our first substitution here in this one as Rosie Long gets checked in for the Wildcats.
Alabama backpicking right now in transition, using 2 athletes to make the process a little bit easier. We'll see them attack with a 5-on-4 here coming into the half-court set.
Gonzalez inside, Vera LaRue. 4 points already for Luisa Vera LaRue.
That's a strong finish with a tall player trailing behind you. That's a really advantageous thing. Again, Alabama being able to score in so many ways from so many different athletes.
And Nielsen just had to throw that behind her head to try to get it across midcourt. Alabama's press is causing a lot of issues for the Wildcats, and Gonzalez cashes in on the other end. It is 14-0. Alabama has sprinted out to this double-digit lead early.
Excel making that look easy. She catches the basketball, squares up her chair without putting her hands on her chair, controlling her chair, just her hips. That's an impressive move.
So 14-0 Crimson Tide lead here as Rodriguez now has possession. The Wildcats still looking to get on the board with their first basket of the game. They've had a couple of good looks at it, just unable to cash in so far. Rodriguez just rolls off the rim.
Sometimes it can be difficult. You're dealing with Alabama's pressure in the full court. You finally get a good look, and it's hard to get your arms feeling like you're ready to shoot that ball.
Joy Hazelden's layup unable to go, but she gets the offensive rebound, finds Gonzalez, her shot unable to go, and Arizona cleans up the miss. So we're through the opening 5 minutes. Arizona still looking for their first basket of the game as this Alabama full court pressure is causing the Wildcats all type of issues, just getting it into the front court. Launchslugger, though, has possession. She's working down the right side of the lane, left it off to her teammate, and she left it short. That's Rosie Long with the attempt. And Bailey Moody, the ball's up ahead. She didn't realize it until it reached her. And Moody, now on the left block, being defended by Rodriguez, puts it up and in.
We've seen Bailey knock it down from a mid-range jump shot, and then there with a mid-range post-up, really showing her full bag of tricks on offense.
And Moody, a Paralympian for Team USA this past summer. She is highly skilled and just another one of those options for the Alabama Crimson Tide on offense to go to when they need some points. And right now, Alabama has all the points, 16-0. And Moody left that one off the mark. They were trying to make it 18-0. Back the other way comes Arizona. Launchslogger, top of the key, surveying. Kicks it. Ella Rodriguez. Wing shot is up, too strong.
You see how far they're keeping those screens out, really forcing that mid-range shot. Instead of a 15-footer, it's more of a 17 or 18-footer.
And it's Hazelden cashing in on the other end, and it's all Crimson Tide right now. It is 18-0 Alabama through 6.5 minutes of play. And it looks like another turnover from Arizona. And we're going to have another substitution for the Wildcats as Abby Coffin checks in. Going to give Ella Rodriguez a breather here as she's had to really do the heavy lifting for the Arizona offense. Even though they're not on the board, the ball's been in her hands a lot.
University of Arizona trying to find a combination that can not only handle this pressure, but then able to take advantage on the half court.
And Bailey Moody showing off that range. She's good from beyond the arc. Alabama's first 3 of the game makes it 21-0 Crimson Tide. Up ahead, Nielsen able to break the press. Arizona looking for their first basket still. Screen set by Samantha Fraser inside. It's Coffin up and left short.
We've seen multiple people for the University of Alabama bringing the ball up in transition, multiple people shooting, handling the basketball, passing. Again, we can't say it enough. That's why they're so difficult to guard. They are a handful.
A lot of trust in head coach Ryan Hines and the 5 players that he has out there, the 5 starters on the floor for Alabama. and LaRue, Balaki, Gonzalez, Moody, and Hazelden. As Nielsen's right there at the midcourt line, able to get it across.
Good awareness. She was not completely into the front court. If you don't get your chair all the way in the front court, it still could be a backcourt violation.
Arizona, it's Abby Coffin with the ball. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Skip pass over to Samantha Frazier. Frazier able to corral it with 4 seconds on the shot clock. Has to force up a difficult shot. Rebounds fought for and won by Gonzalez. Up ahead, Gonzalez trying to get it across the timeline. She's able to do so. Stayed upright. Now Alabama chance to run their half-court offense, and Gonzalez just got loose behind the defense. Her speed is just blazing.
Excel doing what Excel does. She saved the basketball, fell on the ground, got back up in time to make her cut, and knock down a layup for Alabama.
Gonzalez has just been everywhere on the floor here in the opening period, and a large reason why Alabama's up 23-0, as this pressure has just caused the Wildcats all types of issues into getting in their offense. As Haley Nielsen's foul going in. We're going to see if that's on the shot or on the floor here. And we'll get 2 shots coming up from Nielsen. Chance to get on the board for the Wildcats.
That was a nice pick and roll for the University of Arizona. Haley coming off of that pick, using the pump fake to have the defender reach, and then she hipped around and was able to get a shot attempt up as she got fouled.
Wildcats are on the board with that first made free throw by Haley Nielsen. She's got one more coming. Second one left off the front of the rim. Gonzalez there for the miss. And Bailey Moody just got loose behind the defense on the left side, and Gonzalez found her teammate. 25-1 here in the opening period. Alabama really getting what they want offensively, as Arizona's continued to struggle to break this press. It will remain Wildcats basketball. Checking in the game, we see Ella Rodriguez back in. For the first time in this one, we're going to see Mackenzie Hagg check in.
This Alabama offense is a finely tuned machine. Everyone's setting picks for each other. They're setting seals. They can all kind of play every role in it, and they're really, really making it difficult on Arizona.
Yeah, if you ask head coach Ryan Hines, he talks a lot about Joy Hazelden, a lot of the dirty work she does, maybe not showing up in the box score, the stat sheet, and so far, I mean, Hazelden's played a great game, and she's got a couple points to show for it as well, as Alabama leads 25-1. And that shot up, no good. Rebounds to Moody.
That Alabama defense forcing Arizona to throw up a hook shot at the end of the shot clock.
That's going to be offensive foul going against the Crimson Tide. Back the other way.
Bailey had her eyes on the prize, saw someone roll into the basket, wanted to make sure, got the basketball to her teammate, but didn't see the defender that was in front of her.
So Moody gets hit with the offensive foul. Alabama 3 team fouls, but so far some of that being some of their aggression on defense, allowing them to get out to this 25-1 lead, as Coffin has it in the corner. And she puts it up off the rim, no good. Final seconds winding down, and Hazelden's trying to get there. Gonzalez will, but the shot clock will sound. I mean, great hustle as Hazelden and Gonzalez try to beat each other to the ball. But that will do it for the first period, in a period that dominated by the overall 1 seed. Alabama leads Arizona 25-1 after 1.
no matter where you are.
We'd like to welcome you back in here for the second quarter inside State Farm Center, where the 1-seed Alabama owns a 25-1 lead over the 4-seed Arizona Wildcats, as Arizona's looking to get that offense going here in the second period.
The end of that first quarter was a great visual of why Arizona is struggling so much. We saw Excelt and Joy chase down a loose ball and how fast they were compared to the rest of the Arizona team. It is difficult to beat speed in wheelchair basketball.
It's difficult to beat speed, and Excel Gonzalez has a lot of it. She got to the rim but left it short. Alabama offensive rebound, and Gonzalez, player safety stoppage, makes sure she's all right. She works her way back upright. Gonzalez seems to be all right, gives the head nod to the official, and it's going to be Hazelden set to be the baseline out of bounds inbounder for the Tide here. LaRue just threw it up right there in the middle of the lane and left it off to the left. Rebound by Nielsen. Able to break the press before Maura Paulus just took it away right there. From Arizona, back the other way. Here comes Hazelden surveying. He has Lisa Curley-Gallagher, but she left it a little too strong, and it's off the hands of Paulus out of bounds.
What a great pass. Eyes up, taking a look at your teammates while you're handling the basketball. Unable to finish in that spot, but that was a great pass.
We still see Alabama come out in that full court pressure they showed the entire first period. Head coach Ryan Hines and his team not taking their foot off the gas pedal to start the second quarter. As Nielsen's looking for Coffin. Coffin able to break the press, get up in the front court. Rosie Long now, back to Coffin. Nielsen top of the key, over to Rodriguez on the right wing. Rodriguez surveying the floor. Arizona still looking for the first field goal made of the game. Can it come from Nielsen? It will.
The help defender ended up leaving Haley Nielsen from the free throw line. Haley, composed, takes an extra second, knocks that one down. Arizona's going to want more possessions like that.
Nielsen's responsible for all 3 points for the Wildcats so far in this game, as that's knocked away by Coffin into the hands of Clary Gallibert. It's Lisa working her way inside. Ray LaRue left it strong, and we're going to have a foul underneath the basket. Blocking foul is going to send Ray LaRue to the strike for 2.
We're seeing how much that speed we talked about can impact not only offense but in defense. On the Arizona, when Arizona's on offense, Alabama's using their speed to push their offensive attack so far that it's difficult for Arizona. And then when Alabama's on offense, they're using that speed to set picks, go to the lane, and that's why University of Alabama has such high quality, easy looks that they're getting.
It's clear as Luisa Vey-LaRue has one more free throw coming here at the stripe. Second one off the side of the rim, no good. It bounced out of bounds. Actually saved by Gonzalez. Looked like it was heading out of bounds. Gonzalez gives Alabama a chance at second chance points this trip down the floor. Inside. Layup off the mark for Luisa. Rebound goes to Lisa Clary-Gallagher. And Alabama, third opportunity on this possession. No good from Clary Gallagher. A fourth opportunity as the ball finds Gonzalez.
Excel had set up the last 3 for layups, and then luckily the ball ended up in her hands. She said, I'll just finish this play with a layup of my own.
Gonzalez says, I'll take it myself, and Alabama's out to a 24-point lead. We have a player safety stoppage as Rosie Long got knocked over in front of the Arizona Wildcats bench. And we're ready to go once again as inbound comes to Nielsen. Back over to Mackenzie Hagg and in the front court to Long. Rodriguez, right side. Screen set by Long on Gonzalez. Ball was tipped and stolen away by Clary Gallagher. Up ahead, Gonzalez is looking for Hazelden. Now Hazelden sees it, turns around for the ball, And Hazelden's going to lay it up and in.
Hazelden making sure she's using her chair to seal off the defender, knowing that her teammate's going to put the basketball where she needs it. That's exactly what happened. Basketball on the inside, seals off the defender, rolls in for the layup.
Alabama's just been clicking on all cylinders here today in our first semifinal in our women's division here inside the State Farm Center.
All cylinders is correct. They do not make very many mistakes. They've missed a few layups, but they're running their offense well. They don't have a lot of turnovers, really using their defensive pressure to their advantage as well.
And we have an offensive foul going against Arizona. That's going to be on 0, Abby Coffin.
Foul on number 0, Abigail Coffin. Her first.
And we have substitutions ready to check in at the table for the Wildcats as Abigail Dunn checks back in alongside Lily Launschlager, and taking a breather is going to be Rosie Long and El Rodriguez.
In a game against the University of Alabama, a breather is going to be needed. You are working hard just to get the ball into your offense.
We've seen Arizona substitute a lot more than Alabama so far, trying to keep their players fresh in this one. As Gonzalez left it off for Hazelden. Enjoy Hazelden right now. She is having herself a game here in the first half.
Excel Gonzalez does little things that make her teammates better as well. She came off that screen, and it would have been easy just to dump to Joy Hazelden, but she pump faked the jump shot, brought the defender towards her, gave Joy even more room to knock down that layup.
Gonzalez is just one of the most talented players you'll see in the women's division of wheelchair basketball. Her speed and her athleticism, her decision-making is just incredible. It's top tier as that shot is off the mark by Launschlager.
A rare defensive miscue for Bama, but Arizona unable to capitalize.
So back the other way comes more Paulus. Paulus serving the floor. He's going to leave it off for Hazelden. Screen set by Gonzalez for Hazelden. Back to Gonzalez. Gonzalez left it short. Second chance for Gonzalez. Left it short again. Ball's knocked away. And Alabama a chance for a third opportunity at points right here. And Gonzalez, why not? Left it short again.
We see Excel Gonzalez kind of grinning a little bit, knowing that she's holding back some frustration there. Never feels good to leave 3 of those short, but we know Excel Gonzalez well enough to know that I would bet on her making the next one.
Typically, you see Gonzalez cash in from that range. As you mentioned, she was kind of smiling, maybe laughing to herself. Her way back down the floor as Dunn left that one off to the side of the rim and rebounded by Paulus. Inside, Louisa Very LaRue. Great position on the left block and lays it up and in off the glass. And head coach Ryan Hines, he wants to call a full timeout. He's got some subs waiting at the table to check in. It's Alabama 33, Arizona 30.
Harnessing the transformative power of computing and data sciences, to discovering new ways for environmental and agricultural sustainability, to opening new pathways for better patient care and medical discovery using AI. At Illinois, we develop and deliver.
I'd like to welcome you back in, wheelchair basketball fans, after that full timeout from Alabama head coach Ryan Hines. Tied by 30 here. Nielsen set to be the inbounder for the Wildcats. 4:45 remaining here in the first half. And an offensive foul. Arizona just can't seem to catch any breaks right there. It looks like they did get an offensive foul. It's going to go against Mackenzie Hagg away from the ball right there. Just trying to set an off-ball screen. Fell over, tipped over on top of the Alabama defender.
University of Alabama has had some battles throughout the college season against the University of Texas Arlington, but really today they are showing why they are the #1 seed. They have threats in all different positions, not only threats to score the basketball, but using their chair skills and speed to be extremely difficult to stop.
You mentioned they've had some battles. They certainly have. They played each other 9 times in the regular season as Lisa Cleary-Gallibert gets that lay-in to go. Alabama won the regular season series 6-3, but it was an intriguing series between the two teams as another offensive foul going against the Wildcats. This time it's going to go on Abby Dunn.
Yeah, playing each other 9 times in the season, that's the equivalent of playing your brother or sister in the backyard every night. It's usually going to lead into a brawl.
Those two are, they know how to defend one another. Typically, we see very well played defensive games when those two teams see one another. Obviously, at this point, if they were to meet each other tomorrow in the national title game, it would be the 10th time they play each other in a season, and they are very familiar with one another. As Lisa Cleary-Gallibert gets that look up, no good. Rebound, fought for, back out, second chance opportunity coming up for the Crimson Tide. Ball swung around the perimeter to Bailey Moody, back over to Balaki. Or Paula skips it over to Moody. Moody, all day to line up that shot, rolls around and off the rim for Bailey Moody.
A great example of Alabama's willingness to move the basketball. They waited until they got the perfect shot or until they were late in the shot clock.
And Wildcats, they just have not been able to figure out this press from the Crimson Tide here today. Another turnover thanks to that full court pressure, and Alabama trying to capitalize on it. Inside Moody, look for the reverse lay-in and a late whistle. We're going to get 2 free throws coming up for Bailey Moody.
Foul number 0, Abigail Coffin, her second, team 5th of the quarter. Bailey Moody to the line for 2.
Moody's at the stripe here. Frazier into the game for Hag. Four free throws good for Moody.
That's a great look at that silky smooth lefty finish for Bailey Moody. Great looking jump shot.
Moody 2 for 2 at the stripe. Bama leads 37-3. As Lonslauger gets it across midcourt. And Lonslauger's looking for some help offensively. Finds Samantha Frazier. Screen set by Rodriguez. Frazier, good look at it, left it off the front of the rim. Abigail Dunn fighting for the rebound, and it falls in the hands of Lisa Cleary-Gallibert.
Those chair skills, that speed, that pressure from the Alabama defense, eating up shot clock, making things extremely difficult for the University of Arizona.
Paulus left it off for Hazelden, and Joy Hazelden, she's been in the right place at the right time today. Another basket for her.
Showing she knows the right spin to put off on the backboard, so she finishes that. That's a great finish.
39-3, Bama leads.
You know, when you get into a game that's one-sided like this, it can be a bit challenging, not only from the athletes, but from a coaching side. And what you want to try to do is find some little victories in there. You want to find some goals that you're going to be going for. And I expect Arizona to have some goals coming out of halftime, whether it's breaking down and how many times can you get into the offense and not get some 10-second violations. How many times can you guys get in a paint on the offensive end? And Alabama really probably going to have some goals of limiting their mistakes, whether that's decreasing turnovers or how many times Arizona gets in the paint. So you want to find little ways to challenge your teams in these one-sided games.
As that was left short, rebounds there for Rodriguez. Never touched the rim, so shot clock's only at 8. Lonslauger, second chance opportunity, no good. Dunn underneath the basket, puts it back up and in. Much needed basket there for the Wildcats. Came off a third chance opportunity on that possession.
Yeah, those are the mistakes I was talking about for the University of Alabama. A couple of offensive rebounds. Those are going to be box out issues that you're going to want to talk about as a coach.
Moody just had a wide open look at a layup. Don't see her miss those too often, but then she'll make the jump shot.
Yeah, maybe I jinxed the team. They've had a couple of back-to-back mistakes here. University of Alabama showing that they're not completely flawless, but it gets hard in a game like this to stay focused.
Yeah, that's something that head coach Ryan Hines, he's being adamant about that with his players in the huddle, maintaining focus as they lead 41-5 here, just over 60 seconds left here in the first half. Has done a reverse lay-in. That was going to be a tough layup to get to fall as Paulus is able to barely stay in bounds. And Moody just discarded her defender underneath the basket and laid it up and in. Lodslager lost her balance there on the right block, and Moody took advantage.
Yeah, it's very similar to what we saw Joy do earlier, is using her wheelchair to seal off the defender. In that situation, the defender ended up falling over. But Bailey ultimately using her chair, create a little bit of space for herself, and then able to turn in and shoot the layup.
Bama leads 43-5. Crimson Tide been applying that full court pressure this entire first half. They have not let up, and that's going to cause another turnover by the Wildcats.
That's a difficult pass to handle, especially for some of our lower class athletes. You're throwing to Abby Dunn, who's a class 1. I thought you could have snuck in a bounce pass, give her an opportunity to gather and compose, maybe a shot at a layup, but a straight pass was hard for her to reel in.
Moody with the ball. Alabama looking to extend their lead to 40, and they'll do just that. Moody on the assist to Maura Paulus.
Paulus off the bench, a Wisconsin native, enjoying the warm weather of going to school down at the University of Alabama.
As there's just a 1 second difference between the shot clock and the game clock right now. So you're the Wildcats probably hold for the last shot in this first half. As that's up and in. Good looking shot right there. That is Elizabeth Pentecost with her first basket of the game. She recently just checked in. Shot up from Bailey Moody for 3. No good, and that will end the first half. A first half dominated by the overall 1 seed, the Alabama Crimson Tide. They sport a 45-7 lead over the 4 seed Arizona Wildcats heading into the halftime break. Be sure to stick around. We'll have the second half ready for you inside State Farm Center right after the break.
All right, my name is Stephanie Wheeler, and I'm the head coach for the women's wheelchair basketball team. I will be starting my 16th season as head coach this coming season. I am a 2-time Paralympic gold medalist as a player. I won gold in Athens 2004 and in Beijing 2008 as an athlete. And then I coached our team in 2016 to the gold medal at the Rio Paralympic Games. So I help our student athletes with their holistic development in quite a few ways, actually. I think one, they come here to be athletes, and so the bulk of what we do is their development on court. We work every single day with their athletic development, whether they're a novice to the game or whether they are a more experienced player and they're a national team player. So I get an opportunity to work with them every single day on court. That not only encompasses their athletic skills, but that's where we also teach a lot of our leadership skills, how to be a leader, how to be a follower, how to ensure that you're being a supportive teammate. So that's also something that we take pride in, that we do really well here. Is it's not just about basketball while we're on the court. We talk about leadership skills. We talk about how to be a great teammate. We also talk a lot about character skills on court. So I think those 3 things play a huge role into the holistic development of our student athletes. You can't just be on court and be focused on yourself and your own development. Your teammates are important, and who you are as a person is important. And I actually think that's probably the most important thing that we do, is help them grow as people, to become more resilient people, to become more determined people, to become more responsible people, whatever character skills we are working on. So on court, that's kind of what we encompass there. Off court, we work on some of those things too, and I also think that we play a big role in their academic development as well. We do check-ins. I do weekly check-ins with the student athletes on their academic progress, because I want to make sure that they understand that I care about what they're doing in the classroom, and that they understand that it's an important piece of what they do. So I think if you could distill down everything that we do, it's we focus in on the academics, we take care of the athletics on court, and then we focus on who you are as a person. All right, I wanted to be a coach for a number of reasons. one, I love wheelchair basketball. I love the sport of wheelchair basketball. I love everything about it. And as I was getting to the end of my playing career, I didn't want to be without basketball in my life. And so any opportunity to coach, I was going to take it. And so when this opportunity became available at Illinois, there was no question in my mind that I wanted to come back home and be a part of this legacy at Illinois. So I love wheelchair basketball. It's a great sport. I also love teaching, and every single day that I get to be on court with our student athletes and I get to teach them, whether it's basketball skills, life skills, whatever it might be, is a great day. So, if I can be involved in wheelchair basketball and I can teach, I couldn't ask for a better day. The other reason that I got involved in coaching is because I had two phenomenal coaches myself. Mike Frogley when I was a student athlete here at Illinois, and Ron Likens when I competed on the national team. And they had such a profound influence on my life and who I am as a person. To this day, I still call them up and rely on them, that I wanted to have the same impact on the student athletes that were coming through our program. At Illinois here, we have a great legacy of incredible student athletes to graduate from our program and go on to do amazing things. And, if I can play a small part in that, continuing that legacy of helping to graduate amazing student athletes, then, again, it's a great day. So anytime I can give back and do the things for our current student athletes that my coaches did for me, then I hope I'm having the impact on them that my coaches had on me. I love graduation day. It's such a culmination of everything that our student athletes have learned from the time they stepped on campus as freshmen to the time that they're leaving us and leaving the nest and going on to do all of the wonderful things that they're going to do. So graduation day is super special. But I think it's kind of hard to distill down the favorite part of the job, because I think there are moments that happen every single day that remind me why this job is so cool and why I'm so lucky. From being on court one day and seeing the light bulb pop for a student athlete on a particular skill that they've been working on and they finally get it, or to see an athlete come to my office door and say, hey, remember that test I had? Yeah, I crushed it, I got an A on it. Or to help them navigate something that's challenging in their life, a difficult situation, and to see them grow as a person because of how they navigated that. All of those are incredible moments, and those little things happen every day. And so it's really hard to pick out favorite moments or favorite things or something like that. But I think that's the favorite part of my job. It's just the everyday piece of, you get to see this growth bit by bit, day by day, moment by moment, actually, for each of our student athletes. And what a privilege it is to get to be that intimately involved in someone's life. What do I like to do for fun? Well, I bought a record player last summer, and I have recently gotten into listening to records. And so in my free time, you can probably find me at one of our local record stops, digging for records, and then taking them back home and spending some time with them. So I've really been enjoying that recently. I love sports in general, so I love going to sporting events. I love watching sporting events, getting out to any of our Illini sporting events, or if I can get to any WNBA games or anything like that. I love watching sports. And then I love just relaxing, spending time with my wife, doing something that's just where I can kind of shut down and turn off, have a nap every now and again. It's something I enjoy doing. So yeah, I don't know, you can catch me at a record shop, a sporting event, or on my couch.
Hi, my name is Matthew Pullen. I am the assistant coach for both the men and the women's wheelchair basketball team here at the University of Illinois, and I will be going into my 7th season this next year. I help our student athletes in their holistic development in a number of different ways. On the court, we develop them into the best athletes that they can be. whether that be with individual goals or with team goals. We like to sit down with each and every one of them and understand what their goals are while they're here at the University of Illinois, whether that's to be the best collegiate athlete that they can be and they get the most out of the collegiate experience as a wheelchair basketball player, to all the way to being the best possible elite Paralympic athlete that they can be, if that is their end goal. We help them achieve what they want to achieve by sitting down with each one of them and understanding what they want out of their experience when they're here, because at the end of the day, our job is to help them have the best possible experience they can as a student athlete here at Illinois. To help them academically, I do check-ins with them, I have conversations with them about how classes are going, what's coming up, what does finals look like. I help make the gym schedule for all of their lift times, and I like to work around all of their classes so that they have enough time to focus on all of the pieces that they need to focus on. I got into this profession kind of by chance. If we're talking in wheelchair basketball, I always knew I wanted to coach basketball. From the moment I knew that I wasn't going to be able to play basketball at the level that I originally hoped when I was young. I was in able-bodied basketball playing through high school, and then I was even able-bodied in athletics in college when I was an undergrad. I happened to get into wheelchair basketball by chance. It fell into my lap, and it took me all of 5 minutes to tell my boss, Mo. I was like, yeah, I'll take the job, and that was about 6 years ago. I really love getting to know each one of them in those deep ways, because that makes me a better person. It makes me a better coach. I know how to coach them better. If I know more of the ins and outs of who they are as an individual, I know how to connect with them better. But outside of basketball, I just love getting to know them as human beings, because we have some great people that come through these doors at the University of Illinois, and I don't know how you wouldn't want to get to know them with who they are as people. Because a fun fact about me is, before I got to Illinois and I was coaching wheelchair basketball, when I was in my undergrad at Wichita State, I was a manager for their basketball team for 3 years. That's how I got my start in college athletics, and it's only propelled me to where I am today.
So I don't look individually. Well, I do. I do look individually. I also look at the students as a whole. So I'm trying to, in my classes, I'm trying to role model what I hope that they will be as professionals. So specifically with the athletes, I know their time constraints. I come from an athletic family. So I have a really good understanding of all the pressures they're under to not only be athletes, but also to be students. And I want to help them figure out how to balance that. So I spend time with the athletes, specifically, pretty much the first day of class, I had all the athletes stay, and we talk about my expectations, their scheduling, their challenges, and then I also encourage them to talk about those things with their team, because I put everybody in a student team. So, you know, there's that. Communication is really important with all my students, but specifically with the athletes. I need them to let me know what's going on, what's happening in their world, what things they've got coming up, what I can do to support, what they might need outside of class for support. So it's a pretty holistic approach with them on what I need to be able to work with them the entire semester. So I actually kind of fell into it. I come from an athletic family, so we ran tournaments, we did lessons, we played on the circuit. I was a tennis player, so it took me till I got to college to actually realize that I could do this and be paid for it. So I started in prison recreation, then I moved to private, then I moved to campus recreation. And once I hit campus rec, it's like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Like I said, I've been doing this. I was with campus rec for 35 years. So it's something that I'm very passionate about, something that I love doing. It's also the student development side. That's pretty much my philosophy, is developing the students. So if I've got them in class, I'm also developing them to be young professionals right now, and then our future professionals. So it's something that I absolutely love doing, and keep doing as long as they'll let me.
And welcome back in, wheelchair basketball fans, inside State Farm Center here on the campus of University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. This is our first women's semifinal game, and we're about set and ready to go for the final 20 minutes. The first 20 were dominated by the one-seed Alabama Crimson Tide. They sport a 45-7 lead here as we get set and ready to start the second half. Some new faces on the floor for the Crimson Tide as we start this half. Mary McClendon set to be the inbounder here for the Tide, the sophomore from Birmingham, Alabama. You see Ella Freck in there as well, alongside Maura Paulus, Katie Hull, and Elizabeth Flock.
Great opportunity here for the University of Alabama to get some minutes and develop for their bench. I like what Coach Hines and Coach Zerbrug are doing, changing that lineup, able to keep the competitive edge by changing the lineup here.
So McClendon looked for Freck inside, but found Flock on the exterior instead. McClendon, shot clock winding down. Alabama has to get a shot up. Paulus off the front of the rim, no good. Rebounds there for Lonslaughter.
Good awareness of the shot clock, able to catch the rim at the end, but not able to connect with that basket.
So as Lonslaughter thought about a shot, Haley Nielsen up to 3 points on the game. He's going to leave it off for Rodriguez. Ella Rodriguez shots off the mark. Rebound, though, Abby Dunn trying to get a second chance opportunity, but she left that short, and miss falls in the hands of Mary McClendon.
The way that University of Alabama defense just rotated, they jumped the shooter. I like to see how that help defender rotated. They zoned up on the weak side. Really shows that this is a well-coached team, not just a bunch of talented athletes in their starting lineup.
I think we're going to get an over and back here on Alabama as Freck was in the front court and went to the backcourt to receive that. So Arizona, sideline out of bounds, finds Samantha Frazier. Frazier on the left side of the floor, surveys. Back to Lily Lonslaughter at the free throw line. Frazier, left baseline jump shot, off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound though. Haley Nielsen, chance for second chance opportunity coming up right here for the Wildcats.
If you're the University of Arizona in this position, you want to look at this as an opportunity. You're trying to win this third quarter, regardless of what lineup the University of Alabama puts out. But right now, you should be excited about the opportunity to kind of put your mark on this game here in the third quarter.
We're going to have a timeout called. 30-second timeout by Alabama head coach Ryan Hines. We want to talk things over this new lineup out on the floor as Alabama leads 45-7.
Year after year, from every corner of the globe.
From Toulouse, Luxembourg,
Sydney, Monte Carlo,
Dubai. People come together to run for those who can't. A run for everyone, where the finish line chases you. On May 4th, watch the world unite again to find a cure for spinal cord injuries, one step at a time. The Wings for Life World Run 2025, live on Red Bull TV.
And after that short 30-second timeout, it's going to be Alabama ball, or probably set to be the inbounder under their own basket. Hollis up over to McClendon on the right side of the floor. Back to Elizabeth Flock, over to Paulus. Alabama swinging around the perimeter before McClendon settles for the mid-range jump shot, left it short.
Nice ball movement there for the University of Alabama. You see Arizona attacking here on offense. Like to see them go with a little more sense of urgency, really try to sprint into that defense that Alabama has set up.
Wildcats trying to win this third quarter as Alabama, you would assume, is resting the starters the rest of the way, with the lead being 45-7 here in the third period. Or Paulus brings it across the timeline. Obviously, if you're head coach Ryan Hines, starting to think a little bit about tomorrow here in the second half, up 45-7 right now. Making sure that your starters have plenty of rest, or whoever they are may play tomorrow in the championship game.
Not only for Coach Hines, but also Coach Aslickson. The winner of this game going to the championship game, the loser going down to the third place game. And third place finish is a fantastic finish as well. Obviously, one of these teams going to come off of this game with a loss. The last thing you want to do is leave the NIWBT with back-to-back losses.
As Paulus gets that jump shot off and left it short, that's going to be a shot clock violation. The shot clock reset, but it never hit the rim, so it shouldn't have. So shot clock violation against Alabama. Turnover for the Crimson Tide.
Credit to our referees. They were right on top of it. We've had great officiating crews here at the NIWBT, bringing in the best officials from across the country. They've been officiating college wheelchair basketball all season and doing a great job of it.
So right after the conclusion of this game, it will be Illinois, the 3 seed, taking on UTA, the 2 seed. That should be a fun matchup between those two teams, as the winner of that game punched their ticket to the national title game tomorrow, which at this rate appears to be Alabama, the 1 seed, with 6:44 remaining in the third. They remain up by 38.
Our referees coming together, discussing whether there was possession or not. The shot clock was reset as if there was a possession set. Looks like they're going to go back down to 21 seconds on the shot clock, saying there was no possession gain there. Going to 12 seconds on the shot clock, excuse me.
12 seconds on the shot clock there. So Frazier gets the inbounds pass, skips it over to Rodriguez. Now only 6 seconds on the shot clock. Inside, Launschlager got a good look at it, and she lays it up and in.
See the University of Arizona coming out with a little full court pressure. I think they see the change in lineup. Feel like this speed matchup is a little bit more in their best interest, and maybe looking at preparing for what they're planning on doing potentially in that third place game tomorrow.
We got a 3-second call against Alabama, as we've mentioned on the broadcast previously. That's something the officiating crew in general are really looking for this season.
Yeah, that 3-second call in wheelchair basketball is really important. You don't see it very much in able-bodied basketball. In wheelchair basketball, because there's no jumping, if you have a player that's sitting taller and has more reach, there's nothing you can do. So they really try to make sure they limit that to 3 seconds in the paint.
And even in previous seasons, it's certainly been more of a point of emphasis to make that call this season, as we have an offensive foul going against McClendon. Just lost control of her chair a little bit, ran her foot plate into Samantha Frazier.
I see Coach Hines going over to the bench, bringing in a couple of new players. Not like in the last couple of possessions. Feels like Arizona's gaining a little bit of momentum. Coach Hines making a change.
We'll see the freshman from Champion, Ohio, Skylar Skarnecchia checking in. And Abby Balaki back into the game, so one of the Crimson Tide starters back in.
I like the move of putting Abby back in. You get some of that veteran leadership. Been there, very talented ball player, can help lead through some of these athletes that haven't been on the court as much.
Maybe Coach Hines looking for that vocal leader out there on the floor for the Crimson Tide here in the third quarter. They've struggled from the floor since the halftime break, as that shot from Frazier's too strong. Saved by Nielsen before going out of bounds, so Arizona second chance opportunity, but no good, and McClendon cleans up that miss.
Haley Nielsen seems to be in the right spot at the right time. In the first half, they're able to get the offensive board. She has a couple of drives. I think her impact on this game has really been impressive.
It's going to be Arizona ball here. Launschlager going to be the side out of bounds. We're midway through the third period. It's Alabama 45, Arizona 9. Arizona looking to crack double digits here with possession. 20 seconds up on the shot clock. Inside, great pick and roll by Abby Dunn, and she lays it up and in.
That's a nice pick and roll, a pass that set up Abby to be able to finish. She doesn't have all the function to be able to go back and go find a bad pass, so it had to be accurate, and that's exactly what it was.
Bama breaks the Wildcats' pressure by getting it up ahead to Skylar Skarnecchia. One of two freshmen on the roster of this Alabama women's wheelchair basketball team, alongside Sadie Atcher, who we have yet to see in this game. Skarnecchia from the baseline, left is short.
It's a good opportunity for Alabama to find out where they're going to be able to score. If Excelt isn't in the game, Mora came in. She has the ability to score. Bailey Moody on the bench right now. Joy's on the bench right now. A lot of scoring on the bench, so Alabama is going to have to find a different spot to score.
And they've struggled to do that since the halftime break. Finding that second scoring option on the floor for the Crimson Tide as that shot is up. And Arizona, they've got the lid off the basket here in the second half. Ella Rodriguez with the make.
Not only the lid off the basket, but you talked about Alabama having a difficult time scoring. Credit to Arizona's defense. They're turning up that pressure here on the second unit that University of Alabama has on the floor right now.
45-13 Crimson Tide lead here. We got 3.5 minutes remaining in this third period. It's Elizabeth Flock, top of the key. Going to leave it off for McClendon, the Birmingham native. Skips it over at Balaki, right block. Balaki gets it to creep over the rim and in. Some of that veteran leadership stabilizing the Alabama offense.
Right place, right time, setting the pick on the non-ball side, rolling towards the basket. Great find on the timing and knocking down that layup.
Shot off the front of the rim, no good. Offensive rebound finds its way out to the Wildcats. Nine seconds on the shot clock inside. Launschlager, great look at it. And Arizona really operating their offense at a high level here in the third period now.
This is a great momentum builder here for the University of Arizona. As we mentioned, there's more basketball for both teams. One team going to the third place game, one team heading towards the championship game. Momentum is going to key for both of these teams. Even if you don't win the game, you want some positive notes to be leaving the game on.
They got an and one on that trip to the basket for Launschlager, so she has a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play at the line right here. And she drills it, so three-point trip down the floor for the Wildcats. And we just talked about them trying to crack double digits a couple minutes ago. They're up at 16 now, so Arizona able to string together some good offensive possessions in a row here in the third period.
really shows us a little bit how potent that starting lineup for the University of Alabama is as well. Because Arizona has the ability to score. They're moving the basketball well. They have multiple people that can score, but the University of Alabama starting lineup made it look almost impossible for Arizona to score.
Scarnecchia, freshman's on the board for the Crimson Tide with the 2. Arizona with possession. Miss Mackenzie Hagg got a good look at it, rimmed in and out. But the quality and looks the Wildcats have gotten here in the second half is certainly much better than the quality that they got there in the first.
Yeah, exactly what you're mentioning. The distance from which they're shooting, the amount of pressure that they're getting when they are shooting, it's just a different story here in the third quarter.
As McClendon trying to get on the board, he does so successfully. That bounces off the front of the rim and in. .120 left to play in the third period. Haley Nilsson up the floor, left elbow. Skips it over to Ella Rodriguez, and we have a 3-second call in the lane on the Wildcats.
University of Alabama was able to trap Arizona in the paint, have to be making an effort to get out of the paint. Depending on the officials and the position where the players are, sometimes they're going to stall that 3-second call, but in that spot, the official calling 3 seconds on the University of Arizona.
Scarnecchia with the ball in her hands. Working off the left elbow, a screen by Ella Freck. Now she'll kick out to Flock over to McClendon. Inside, Bollinky rolls off the rim and out. Bollinky offensive rebound, second chance Scarnecchia, and that's in.
What great composure for Abby. Doesn't put her head down because she missed the layup. Went in, got the offensive rebound, found the open person for University of Alabama, and gave him a second chance at that one.
Mentioned Scarnecchia is a freshman as that shot is up and in for Rodriguez. She's trying to feel it here in the second half, but Scarnecchia 4 points already off the bench for the freshman.
University of Alabama, an extremely strong program. You're a freshman going in there. You're training against some of the best women's wheelchair basketball players on the planet. So cool to see those freshmen and how good they are as well.
Scarnecchia, she does not lack confidence. Nothing but net from the right side of the floor.
She's been watching Excel Gonzalez, Bailey Moody do it. She says, I can do that too.
She certainly can, as Alabama is going to sport a 55-18 lead over the Wildcats. They're 10 minutes away. The Crimson Tide are from advancing to the national championship game tomorrow inside State Farm Center.
In 2 weeks from then, that's going to be Friday.
We're set ready to go here for the fourth quarter. Final 10 minutes of action in this one. It's the Crimson Tide 55, the Wildcats 18 as Rodriguez takes the inbounds pass, working down the right side of the floor, all the way down to the baseline. No one stopped Rodriguez as she uses the glass to bank it in.
Looking like the University of Alabama has earned their way into the championship game. If you're the University of Alabama, you want to have positive vibes coming out of this game, something to grow on, something you feel good about. University of Arizona heading into that third place game, exact same thing. A lot riding on this fourth quarter, even though the score looks a little one-sided.
As Skarnecchia gets another look off right there. She has been firing away since she's checked into this one. And now we see Sadie Absher, freshman from Belmont, North Carolina, join Skarnecchia alongside. So both freshmen on the floor for the Crimson Tide right now. Inside, Ella Ray Rodriguez, and she has heated up significantly here in the second half.
Heated up significantly, I think part because of the University of Alabama defense. You're looking at the shot quality, the last couple of shots coming from the middle of the paint or a layup.
Yeah, Arizona really getting some quality looks here in the second half since Alabama. They've had all those starters besides now Louisa Very LaRue and Abby Balaki both check into the game as well. Exel Gonzalez, Bailey Moody, and Joy Hazelden, they have been on the bench since the end of the first half.
Enjoying a well-earned rest.
Yes, as they dominated that first half on their way to a 45-7 lead. As that was knocked away by Skarnecchia, picked up by Absher. Now we have a foul called. See who that's going to go on. It's going to go on Sadie Absher, her first. So Absher tagged with her first personal foul. It's going to be Lily Lauenslager set to inbound. Ella Ray collects the inbounds pass, working on the right wing. Lauenslager, free throw line. Mackenzie Hagg, she's got a couple looks at it here in this one. Trying to get a quality look on this possession from the baseline. It rims in and out. She's had a couple misses like that in this game.
You know, I've been watching the University of Alabama bench, which, as you mentioned, is filled with their starters that put in some work here in the first half. It's really exciting to see how into the game they are. They're cheering on their teammates. They practice every day with each other. This is their opportunity to be on the court. And sometimes it's easy to sit on that bench and check out, but they are into the game just as much as if they were in the, what they would want their teammates to be on the bench. So University of Alabama really showing why they're such an impressive program.
Yeah, and you look at the bench, you see the shooting shirts on Gonzalez and Balaki and Moody, maybe signifying that they're done for the day. But as you mentioned, I mean, you see them locked in. They're all focused on the action on the floor and cheering on their teammates as Lisa Clary Galibert works her way up the left side of the lane. Now she'll pull it back out, looking for help. She's got Louisa Vega LaRue, one of the remaining starters in the game right now for the Crimson Tide. Absher shot left short. Katie Hull fought for the rebound. And now it's going to be a turnover for the Crimson Tide. It's a Lauenslager up the floor for the Wildcats. Working her way down the right baseline. Going to fire up a shot, left is short. Rebound falls in the hands of Sadie Absher.
Arizona's been doing a good job moving the basketball, working towards a good shot. That one felt like it was a little bit more forced, just getting a shot up for the sake of getting a shot up.
Katie Hull unable to corral the pass, but great save right there from Lisa Clary Galibert to Skylar Skarnecchia, but Skarnecchia left it short. Over to Hagg. And she uses the glass to her advantage and banks it in.
University of Arizona getting back to some of that basketball movement, moving the basketball, moving some people that led to some good shots, and that's exactly what they got, is a good shot.
Lisa Clary Galibert almost doing a 360 on that lay-in, unable to get to fall. Up ahead, Lauenslager to Hagg across midcourt. Hagg waiting for some help. She's got Rodriguez. Rodriguez surveying. Ella Ray Rodriguez working her way to the baseline before an offensive foul was called on the Wildcats.
Referee saw that pick that came up there. the offensive player just using their foot plate to set the pick, going to have to turn and use your big wheel more than you're using your foot plate. That was an easy call for the official to catch because it's on ball side. That's where everybody's looking.
That foul assessed to Elizabeth Pentecost. As we got some substitutions for both sides. McClendon just checked back in for the Crimson Tide alongside Ella Freck. And now Rodriguez and Pentecost are both going to check out and receive a breather for the Wildcats. Absher, left elbow, working her way down low now. Screen set by Katie Hull. Hull slipping, working her way inside. Being defended by Coffin, and Coffin knocks that ball away into the hands of Hag.
University of Arizona not bringing the help on that spot, planning on trailing the person that was rolling to the basket. That's exactly what they did. Made everything difficult and getting the basketball.
And another offensive foul. Arizona's picking them up here on this end of the floor here in the fourth quarter.
It's a great learning opportunity, a great time to get some film and learn from some of that stuff. Some of these athletes that are on the floor right now maybe didn't get a ton of possessions this season, so we see some of those jitters right now, really trying to take advantage, getting a little bit aggressive with their foot plates.
As it's tied by 33 here in the final 5 minutes of regulation in this one. Certainly seems apparent that the 1 seed will be moving on tomorrow in the national title game, as that shot's off the mark by McClendon.
And the score has been all tied this entire game. But again, Arizona, second half, I thought they made some nice adjustments. They came out with a level of intensity, moving the basketball, regardless of what lineup was out there for the University of Alabama.
Yeah, if you're head coach Josie Aslaxon of Arizona Wildcats, have to be happy with the second half that you've gotten from your team here and take that positive momentum, try to roll it in to the third place game that they'll have tomorrow. Inside, Coffin got loose, but too strong right there on the layup attempt.
We won't know who they match up with tomorrow, the next semifinal being right after this game, which would be the University of Illinois against the University of Texas Arlington. Again, the winner of that game heading to the championship, loser going down to the third place game.
And that should be a fun one, wheelchair basketball fans. You're going to want to stay tuned in as Flock at foul. She thought she had the end one for a second, almost prematurely celebrated it, but she'll go the strike for two.
Yes. Speaking of the next game, University of Illinois at State Farm Arena, them hosting a unbelievable 2025 NIWBT. All the people here making this happen. It will be exciting to watch them on their home court, home arena. What a great semifinal we have coming up.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Be sure to tune in to that one at 6 o'clock here inside State Farm Center. UTA, the 2 seed against the 3 seed. Illinois fighting Illini on their home floor. Illinois, they'll have their hands full. Zoe Voris and Harmony Rudez. That's a 1-2 power punch that the Lady Moving Mavs have.
We mentioned that UTA was able to beat Alabama 3 times this season. Based on what we saw from Alabama here in the first half, UTA is bringing some threats as well, if they can beat Alabama 3 times.
Yeah, absolutely. Zoe Voris, really entrusted by head coach Morgan Wood of the Lady Moving Mavs to be the ball handler for that team. And Harmony Rudez, she anchors the paint. So tall and long in that painted area, so tough to get shots in over her, and she's so tough to defend when she gets her position down the low blocks.
She just committed to her style of game, too. Everything is inside the paint. She's not going to take anything that isn't comfortable. Harmony showing the discipline. UTA and U of I should be an exciting semifinal matchup.
Can't wait for that one. Be sure to tune in to that game at 6 o'clock here at NWBA channel on YouTube. It'll be a lot of fun as we're closing in on the final 3 minutes of this one. Alabama leads by 34. That shot's off the mark, no good from McClendon. The Crimson Tide will be tuned in after the conclusion of their game to see who they'll get in tomorrow's national championship game.
Yeah, they get to relax and watch a game. Yeah. We're all going to watch chewing on our fingernails, seeing who's going to make it to the next round. They're going to know they're going to know their outcome anyway.
A little bit relaxing for head coach Ryan Hines, and sure to get back to the hotel, have some dinner, and see who their opponent will be tomorrow, as that's going to be a shot clock violation.
You get to sit back and be a fan for a game.
2:08 remaining in this one. It's tied by 34. Alabama, I mean, they just got out to a large lead there in the first half. A 38-point halftime deficit for Arizona, almost basically impossible to overcome at that point.
This one was one-sided pretty early. I want to say it was 21 points
And
Alabama
nothing,
had before Arizona had their first point.
Yeah, it was 21-0 before Haley Nielsen hit a free throw. She split a pair with the stripe to make it 21-1. Alabama, I mean, they just came out with a surge. And Arizona, they responded, but it was too late here in the second half. They've really played a good second half, the Wildcats.
Alabama right now looking like they are a team that has the eyes on the prize, looking very focused, ready to go, playing good basketball here, heading into what will be their championship game tomorrow.
As that one's left too strong right there by Long, back the other way comes Alabama.
University of Arizona Wildcats also coming a very long ways. Fairly new women's team, getting coached by Josie Aslickson, Courtney Ryan over there, a couple of Paralympians coming back from Paris. They are in great shape. We see in Arizona here with a strong second half. Excited to see them in the third place game tomorrow as well.
Yeah, the Wildcats are heading in the right direction. You know, they lost a lot of production to Emily Gustafson last season when she graduated and ran out of eligibility. So this season more of a trying to figure out who you have and try to figure out who fits into what roles for the Arizona Wildcats. And they're still going to be in the third place game. So still a lot to look forward to for the Arizona program.
And great leadership out there. Their athletic director, Pete Hughes, does a great job. University of Arizona, nothing but an upside for that program. I know it's tough to realize that now when the University of Alabama kind of gave you a tough semifinal loss here, but credit to University of Arizona. Great leadership. I expect big things from the program in the future.
Coffin has the ball. The final minute winding down here inside State Farm Center of our first semifinal women's matchup. As Coffin able to drain the two. It's about a 10-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. We'll see if Alabama elects to put a shot up here. They're running their offense. It's going to be McClendon taking the shot, lefting it off the front of the rim, and Alabama's just going to fall back here as the shot clock's turned off.
I like Alabama running their offense there. Again, opportunity at a possession to continue to grow. No reason to waste a possession.
Coffin from the baseline, off the rim, no good, and Alabama will be content with just dribbling the clock out here as the final seconds wind down. The 1-seed Crimson Tide punch their ticket to the national title game tomorrow evening, and they'll find out who they play in the next semifinal game later on at 6 o'clock. It's going to be 3-seed Illinois taking on 2-seed UTA here inside State Farm Center. But for this game, it was Alabama, and it was all Alabama. They rolled to a 58-26 win over 4-seed Arizona. We'd like to thank you for tuning in and watching. Be sure to tune in to our second semifinal game coming up here in just about 38 minutes. For Alex Booth, joined alongside Opie Long, we'd like to thank you for tuning in and